Let's talk about signal flow. Now, why is it so important to understand signal flow? Like, why do I even have to know about signal flow? Why can't I just memorize where stuff is plugged in and let that be the end of it? Well, you could do it that way and have to be committing a lot of things to memory. And inevitably, at some point, some sound person is going to unplug the system and reconfigure it in a way they need it and not put it back together. And then you will come in and run the sound system and nothing will be working. And if all you did was memorize things, you may not know how to get it all put back together. Understanding which direction an audio signal is going will help you to know how to hook things up correctly, and it will help you to troubleshoot when things aren't working. The big idea here is what goes in must go out. And it's super simple, but it actually applies to every piece of gear or device that you're going in and out of. Let's say you start with one device or piece of gear. The signal flows in, then out, then into the next piece of gear, and then out that gear, into the next piece of gear, out that one, and into the next, and then out, so on and so forth. As the signal flows from one thing to a next, we refer to it as the signal chain or signal flow. It doesn't matter how many things you add to the signal chain, the signal will flow the same direction. All you have to do is remember the big idea: what goes in must go out. So let's take a look at a simple system setup with only one source. Our one source will be a microphone. We sing in to the microphone. The signal travels out of the microphone in to our mixer. All sorts of fun processing is going to happen in our mixer. And now the signal is going to flow out of the mixer in to a speaker. Now the outputs on a mixer will be hooked up generally left and right. So there are two outputs going out to your main speakers. We have a house left speaker and a house right speaker. So we still need to hook up an output for our right speaker. Here's our right out and is going into the right house speaker. Now these speakers are K10.2s by QSC, and they have amplifiers already inside the speaker. This is what powers the speaker. When the amplifier is built into the speaker, as they are in these K10.2s, it's called an active or powered speaker. Now let's take a look at a more complicated system setup. Though there are more things that we've added to the signal chain, we will apply our one rule: what goes in must go out, and easily be able to get everything plugged in. Let's take a look at our first source. Our first source is going to be a microphone. We sing in to the microphone, and then the signal travels out of the microphone into our stage snake. And we're just going to say that we plugged that microphone into channel 1 of the snake. Now let's take a look at our second source. We have our guitar up here. We play in to the guitar. The signal flows out of the guitar and into this tuner. The signal flows out of the tuner and then in to the direct box, also referred to as DI for short. And then it goes out of the direct box and in. We're going to say it was plugged into channel 2 of the snake. So we got our two stage sources plugged in. Now a regular worship band setup could have about 24 channels. We're only demonstrating two sources in this diagram. But if you look at our snake, you can see that it can accommodate many, many sources. All those sources are eventually going to end up back at our mixer. So let's follow our microphone first. Now our two source signals will travel out of the snake into the board. The snake is bundled into one nice big cable that encompasses all the channels on a snake. But I'm just going to draw lines for the sake of our diagram. Looking at our microphone, it plugged into channel 1. Now it goes out channel 1, down that big bundle of snake wire, into channel 1 of the board. Our guitar, which was channel 2, is going to go out channel 2 of the snake into channel 2 of our board. All sorts of fun processing gets done in the board, but eventually has to go back out the board and end up in our house speakers. Remember, our house outputs have a left and a right, so there will be two output signals leaving our board. So let's look at the left main out. Left out is going to go into, oh, look what we added. We added another piece to our signal chain. This is a digital signal processor, also called a DSP for short, but we are including this into the signal chain. So we are going in to the DSP. Now let's go pick up our right channel out of the board, out, and then in to the right channel of the DSP. Now we need to get out of the DSP into our amplifier. So here's our left out, and it's going to go in to the left channel of our amplifier. Let's go plug in that right channel. And right out of the DSP in to the right input of the amplifier. Now it's time to get that amplifier hooked up to the house speakers. So we will go out of the left channel of the amplifier in to our left house speaker. Let's go pick up our right house speaker. Out the right channel of the amplifier and in to the right house speaker. Now these particular speakers don't have amplifiers inside them. The amplifier, as we see in our diagram, is an external one. Speakers that are powered by an external amplifier are referred to as passive speakers. And there you have it with signal flow. Just remember the big idea. What goes in must go out. And you'll be able to hook up anything or troubleshoot anything.